It's been on. Yeah, I went to grab my laptop for it. I was like, no, using my computer. It's been on for 5 minutes.
Yeah, gonna get into third.
Oh.
Read the words.
Yeah.
Crazy labs.
Yeah. I love how you went with that here. So proud of me.
You look great. folks. Oh.
It's on this.
Okay.
It worked. I'll sit off and write for. Yes.
I'm just gonna follow this.
Yeah. You're not good enough.
They had it all day
I'm
and
at 4 to 6%. I just unplugged it at home and brought it here.
No, now we're running late. 5:45.
Because we can hear it.
This Shelton Metropolitan Park District meeting is called to order. Mary, will you do a roll call?
Yes, I will. Board Member Blush.
Here.
Board Clerk Stearns. Here. Board Member Gilmore.
Here.
Board Member Anisko.
Here.
Board Member Sherman. Here. Board Member Sapp. Here. Board President Gutierrez.
Here. Right, thank you, Mary. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as published?
And move to approve the consent agenda as published. Excuse me.
And second? Tom, oh.
Over here.
Right. We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Mary, do we have anyone signed up to make general public comment?
I am not sure. It's legal. Go ahead and find the sheet for me, or Mr. President, excuse me. No, we do not have anyone signed up.
All right. So we will move on to the business agenda, seeing that there are no items on the business agenda of this meeting, we're going to recess from this meeting to a special meeting to open a public hearing. Interim Finance Director Terry Schnitzer has information for us about the 2026 ad valorem tax.
Thank you, President Gutierrez and board members. Tonight to bring you the 2026 ad valorem taxes for Shelton Metropolitan Park District. This is increasing the 1% from the highest lawful levy amount plus the new construction and state assessed property from the Mason County Assessor's Office. There have been no changes to the resolution since last presented to you. So I move that you approve the resolution as written.
All right, Mary, would you please give us a reading of resolution number SMPD 42-01025, please?
Resolution number SMPD 42-1025. A resolution of the Shelton Metropolitan Park District, Shelton, Washington, setting the amount of the annual ad valorem taxes for calendar year 2026.
All right, do we have a motion?
I move to approve resolution number SMPD 42-1025 as written.
Second.
Okay. I ask if there's any comments or questions from our board. Seeing none, we have a motion and a second to approve resolution number SMPD 42-1025 as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And now this public hearing is closed and we're opening another public hearing number 2. Terry has a rough information for us about 2026 preliminary budget.
Thank you again, President Gutierrez and the board members. Tonight is setting the 2026 SMPD budget. We currently have the expenses at 785, just over 785,000, and our revenue coming in from the property tax at 636,000, and using the fund balance of almost 149,000. So we recommend approving this resolution as written, and there have not been any changes from last week.
Thank you. Mary, would you please give us the reading of resolution number SMPD 43-011025?
Resolution number SMPD 43-1025. A resolution of the Shelton Metropolitan Park District adopting the budget for the year ending December 31st, 2026.
Thank you, Mary. Is there any public testimony?
No, we don't, Mr. President.
Do we have a motion?
I move to approve resolution number SMPD 43-1025 is written.
Second.
Any board members would like to ask any questions or comments? Seeing none. We have a motion and a second to approve resolution number SMPD 43-1025 as written. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. This public hearing is closed and we will resume the special meeting. All right, we have no administration report this evening. And the next SMPD meeting for December 16th has been canceled due to no business to conduct. So happy New Year. And this meeting will be adjourned at 5:50 p.m.
Uncle's last day, the day he took over when he was.
We have insurance.
Slowly working. I have insurance.
Yeah.
Cancel it.
Shot.
Good evening. Welcome to the council meeting, November 18th. Let's all rise for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Right. Mary, can you do a roll call, please?
Yes, I will. Councilmember Bush.
Here.
Councilmember Stearns.
Here.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Here.
Mayor Nisco.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sherman. Here. Councilmember Sapp. Here. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Here.
Thank you, Mary. Does the council have any late changes to the agenda? Does the council have any board reports to share? All right. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as published?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as published.
Second.
Right, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as published. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, the council invites the public to make comments on matters of city business. Comments shall be made to the entire council, not individual council members. Please refrain from any personal or disrespectful remarks that create disruption to the meeting. If unreasonable disruptive conduct continues, you'll be asked to leave the meeting. Mary, anyone's had a public comment tonight?
Yes, we do, Mr. Mayor. Our first speaker is Dean Hewitt.
Good evening, always a pleasure. Tonight, I want to address a growing concern that impacts every resident, business owner, and taxpayer of Shelton and Lacey counties. The ongoing costs, the lack of accountability, and the continued expansion of services to the homeless and vagrant population without meaningful measurement of outcomes. Washington State does not require municipalities to provide services for homeless and vagrant individuals. The Homeless Housing and Assistance Act mandates only that local government develop a comprehensive plan, a plan coordinated with the state but implemented locally with specific performance measures. That means something critical. Our community leaders are choosing the level, scope, and intensity of services we provide here in Shelton. And that choice is costing us financially, socially, and structurally. Brewer Park is cleaned up repeatedly by the city, only to be overtaken and trashed again within days, sometimes hours, by the exact same individuals. Illegal camping continues unabated. There was a camping ordinance, multiple of them, that was created to prevent exactly this, yet they all remain unenforced. Sidewalks for the post office park and Brewer Park are continually blocked in ADA violation by camps requiring repeated police responses and cleanup deployments, all funded by the community. But beyond city action, we have multiple NGOs and service providers operating in Shelton organizations receiving funding, grants, and resources to address homelessness. And yet our homeless and vagrant population continues to grow. The question we must ask, where is the accountability? Where is the tracking of outcomes? Where are the performance metrics that show whether these services are actually reducing homelessness? Where is the data showing how many individuals are being moved into stable housing, treatment programs, or employment? And where is the physical transparency regarding how much public money is being spent and what return our community is receiving? If these NGOs are receiving funding to solve the problem, then the public has a right to see measurable results, not just activity, but outcomes. Shelton cannot continue pouring resources into systems that show no evidence of improvement without enforced ordinances, without tracking, without standards, and without transparency. We are simply enabling the same destructive cycle. How long can we sustain this? How long can taxpayers shoulder repeated park cleanups, increased police calls, and the rising burden on city services? How long can businesses pay out of pocket to clear trash and damage caused by individuals who are supposed to be served by these very NGOs? The data does not lie. Our homeless and vagrant problem is escalating. If the current system were working, the numbers would be going down, not up. It's time for leadership to demand measurable results. It is time for performance-based contracts, transparent reporting. You get the point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Annie Havens. Good evening, everyone. Mayor and council members, thank you for your dedicated service and the opportunity to speak. My name is Annie Havens. I serve with the Youth Connection, primarily in Belleville. We also support our Shelton team. Our mission is simple but urgent: to remove barriers and prevent young people from achieving stability. Nationally, 1 in 10 young adults and 1 in 30 youth experience some form of homelessness. These are not just statistics. They are young people coming through our doors every day here in Mason County. We currently serve an average of 30 youths daily with a meal and resources, and the number continues to grow. In partnership with local businesses, we've launched a food drive to help meet those increasing needs. We provide hot meals to our clients and send food bags home to youth who otherwise may go without. This month, we're hosting our youth Thanksgiving dinner. For many, there is no family table to go home to. We become that for them. Our staff will prepare the meal, and we are seeking volunteers to serve, allowing the team with youth and family style, creating space for young people to feel seen and valued. In December, we host our annual Christmas celebration, providing food, games, and gifts for every client we serve. Each youth shares 2 wants and 1 need, which go on our Christmas giving tree, which is up in our Shelton Center. We are so thankful to our community for supporting and helping with this. For some, it is their first experience receiving a gift without expectation or condition. In October, we successfully housed 2 young people. Our Shelton and Belfair centers had 623 youth visits, served 330 hot lunches, distributed 45 food bags, and expanded our outreach every Thursday in Shelton, Tuesdays in Shelton, and Thursdays in Belfair. In 2024, 86% of our participants exit into permanent housing. We are on pace to exceed that this year. At the Youth Connection, we believe in being part of the solution through partnerships, outreach, park cleanups, and creating safe spaces where the youth can grow. Thank you for your time and for standing with us. Together, we can change the lives for young people in Mason County.
Thank you.
That's all that we have signed up, Mr. Mayor.
Right. Our first presentation is an LTAC report from the Oyster Fest.
I just tell you when to advance or.
Yeah, I'll try to stay ahead of you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good evening. I'm Lori Brown. I'm the president of Shelton Rotary Club. And if you were to tell me 10, 15 years ago when I was attending Oyster Fest from the Seattle Tacoma area that I would actually be involved with the club that puts it on, I would have said you were out of your mind. But my husband and I retired here 5 years ago, and I joined the Shelton School Rotary Club and have been involved with it for 3 years. So it's a pleasure to be here just to share with you a few facts. We appreciate the LTAC funds that were allocated for us this year. And I also want to acknowledge Pam Stern, who's here with me. She runs our souvenir tent, which will be important. 20 minutes soon. Yes. Yep, there we go. So many of you, are very familiar and actually were the event or attended yourself, but it did start in 1982. These objectives are important, and they really are the core of why we continue to do this. We're trying to create a fun family event. We do want to be profitable in the sense that all profits are returned back to the community through various nonprofit associations and scholarships, awards, and grants. It is also about increasing the awareness of the excellent seafood resource that we have here in the Shelton Basin area. It's also about just increasing tourism, so getting people to see the pleasures of what they can do for recreation here in Basin County. And then it's also to expand community services in our city.
It's a little bit of a difference, so.
Oh, okay, no worries. We do collaborate with our other Rotary clubs, so, Shelton Rotary Club. And as well as the Salish Ski Rotary Club and North Mason County Rotary Club. And they partner with us in a variety of ways. So Shelton Street Fund is kind of the overall architect of it and started it. Shelton Rotary runs the Oyster Fund concert the night before. There you go.
Yeah.
And then Salish City Rotary is doing our wine pavilion, runs that, and North Mason operates as the food vendor. And then those other items, of course, are the fact that we have 24 exhibitors, 34 food vendors. There's the live music, there are children activities, and of course, oyster chefing competition. And I do want to give a shout out to Taylor Shellfish as they donate all of the oysters, over 6,000 of them, to this event, and it really is a highlight for us. Next slide. We also partner with our community and run the art poster contest, and so the winner of the art poster each year is awarded $500, as well as a lot of recognition, and so that's one way we like to stay involved with our art community. Next slide. So some of the funds from LTAC that we used was for advertising, to get people to the area, and so we do have a website that we maintain. Certainly social media, the online community calendars, we try to take advantage of those if we can, because some of those are free and easy to promote, but we do work with Premier Medical Group, or Media Group, sorry, who publishes South Sound Magazine, 425, which is just reference to the area code up on the east side. Kirkland, Bothell, that area, we have been getting a lot of people from the east side of King County, and it's continuing to grow. And then they also run a Northwest Travel Magazine that is a multi-state publication. We put things on the ticket with Seattle Times, we do podcasts with KXXO Radio, certainly working with Rachel Hansen with Explore Good Canal, and Tracy McClure, PMS Radio, and the Journal. Additionally, ways that we're trying to also to stay integrated in with our community, because sometimes we have locals that are like, oh, I serve my son and all that. I need to go, but we do a parade, float in the Forest Festival parade now every year, and then we also participate in the expo. Expo that's the chamber runs, and that's been a nice way to get publicity, as well as the state of Washington tourism site, and they work with us on publicizing the events. They have a specific area that they focus on, shellfish and seafood events, so we're listening to them. This is just a picture of our souvenir tent, because I wanted to make a point that on our swag that we're selling is we're always cognizant of adding Shelton, Washington to many of the products. And so we have a lot of people coming from a variety of places, and they're leaving with something that not only says Oyster Belts, but Shelton, Washington. We also, in the souvenir tent, have local artisans that we're supporting. So there's somebody who makes the oyster earrings and some tumblers, and so we're trying to work with our local artisans. I have just a few facts for you about attendance, and one of the things I want to mention, that's, I know that's a little small. Most of our attendees, and we do come up with a number of about 12,000. That's been kind of consistent the last couple of years. We're still working to try to get that increase. And the way we can tell where people are coming from is really only through those that are purchasing tickets or their RV reservations online. And that is really about a small percentage. So we have about 2,000 online orders or unique visits that we can get information by zip code. And so the way we do come up with the 12,000 though is we can tell how many tickets we sell, how many RV sites we sell. And even with the general public coming in, we capped the ticket price at $15 for all adults, and we had children free, and so we just take the cash and credit cards collected that they gave divided by 15, and then that plus our online is how we're getting to some of these numbers. Of the online data that we have, half of the 2,000 are really from Washington residents that are beyond 50 miles. We tell that. We do know that 163 were outside the state of Washington, and I've listed that of the states with 10 or more, Oregon, California, Florida, Arizona, Texas, and Kansas, all got 10 or more people. And then there were 17 additional states with less than 10. And you can see they are really from all over the United States. And we do also get some from Canada. I don't know if there's any questions about that, but we're still kind of looking at how can we get more concrete information on where they come, but that's what we know so far. We did have, I was talking with a gentleman who runs a oyster bar up in Victoria, and we were really excited because he said, hey, I'm gonna close my oyster bar for the weekend. We're gonna come down and see you at Oyster Fest. I'm bringing a team. We're gonna sign up and we're gonna enter that checking contest. And we're like super excited to have just some, fresh shuckers coming. And they did come. They rented a house in the area. There was 5 of them, and they showed up on Saturday and they were watching the speed shuckers. And the winner was like 1 minute, 18 seconds, and they were a little intimidated. And they said, well, we're really more half shell. Oh, okay. So we'll be back tomorrow. Well, we never saw them again. But so they didn't enter the contest, but they did come to Oyster Fest and they did rent a home in the area, and I'm sure spent money around it. We were kind of amused about that. Last but not least, I would just say that we did talk to quite a few people in Dolly that this was their first time. They'd never been to Oyster Fest and they would be back. I talked to a couple that live in California, and they said, we were just trying to see what could we do, to go to a seafood festival, and they started Googling it, and they found ours, and they literally drove up to Shelton for Oyster Fest, from California, Southern California. So lots of anecdotal stories like that. That's our team. We just want to thank you for your support, and see you next year, October 3rd and 4th, October 2nd would be Oyster Funk. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to.
All right, any questions?
Oh, just a comment. Thank you so much for using the funds in such a way that brought in all the money and all people from different areas. And thank you so much for supporting all the local nonprofits that keep that money here and spend it here on folks that really need it. So just a big gratitude and thank you for making our money a money multiplier. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Right. Not as exciting. Up next is Terry Schnitzer. Not Terry, the budget.
Get to hear from me multiple times. I'm excited.
Information about, or I'm sorry, our financial report. Threw myself off there.
Thank you.
It's.
Wow.
Don't.
Okay. So I was gonna give you an update on our investments, like I try to do every month. So our local government investment pool account is still holding at about 4%. So we currently have 21 million in there. I did invest another million because we did receive the second half of the property taxes. So I moved that over to LGIP. For US Bank, we have 5.7 million. We have a 500,000 bond maturing on the 30th of this month, which I'm happy about because this is one of our lowest yield um, at 0.375. So I'm happy to get this one off, and when I do, I'll probably most likely move that over to next year. So now for the September financial, monthly financial report. I feel like I broke the record because we keep doing better each month, but that's. It's just saying that it's a conservative budget paying off, as well as, you know, just our revenues are coming in better than we had anticipated when budgeting happened last year. And our expenditures are much lower than anticipated. So with both the revenues doing well, less expenditures being spent, both of those are in the favorable of 2.2 million. So which brings our unreserved fund balance up to 4.2 million. So we're doing better than it is. I'm going to page 2 for our general fund revenues. Again, just everything is coming in better than expected. Our property taxes, knowing what we have today, because the majority of the property taxes have come in, we are reaching that 3 million, but I'm expecting about 100,000. Just a little heads up. So then, so we have a total favorable total revenue of 1.4 million, basically. And then if we go over to page 3, so this is our general fund overview of expenditures. Again, a favorable expense of 867,000. So we are at about 3/4 of the year through, and so with through September 25, we've spent just over 11 million, which we budgeted 17 million, so it's about 67% used of that budget. So at the bottom here of this graph, you can see that for these general fund expenditures, that wages and benefits together are 50% of, so they're our biggest cost for the general fund, and then 30% for professional services. And then on page 4, we come to, just the general fund year to year for revenues and expenditures. Again, just better on both sides. Then we have on page 5, the month to month. And we just, for the revenues, we continue to increase from year to year, as you can see from 23, 24, and 25. And as well as expending more each year for the expenses. Jump into page 7 for fund balances. General fund is expected to increase for the fund balance by the 1.1 million. And then pretty much most of the other funds, not all, but are expected to be using fund balance, and that's mostly due to transfers or transferring to projects and the projects being spent for capital projects. The city-wide FTE by fund, that did not change from August. We're still at 10.5 vacancies for the FTEs. But I believe we have filled a couple of them since September. And then just page 8 through 12 is just the overview of revenue and expenditures citywide. So that, have any questions?
Some of the savings is in this FTEs, correct? Probably quite a bit of it.
Certainly. Yeah, we can point to a number of variables within the revenue line items. You'll see sales tax, BO tax, goods and services that have all outperformed what was budgeted. And then same thing on the expenditure side. Some of the, if you will, underperformed, and that could certainly be due to open positions, vacancies within multiple departments, or just underspending what was anticipated in budget. We've the last couple of years, with the corrections and detention has underspent a bit. It's trending much closer. I think we budgeted about $500,000. We're anticipating about 410,000, but lately, our court docket has been quite full, so we'll track that over the next couple months and see if that's trending towards what was budgeted, but we're, as you'll see in the 26 budget proposed tonight, we're carrying over that $500,000 in that item to continue.
I'm just hoping that we're able to fill our FTEs and that we are hit exactly our mark. So I think a lot of our savings is because our staff has been doing double duty and double jobs, like Terry's our interim finance director and Jason's our interim community development director. And we've got employment opportunities in the PD as well. So I'm hoping that, I'm hoping that we can fill those vacancies and that we're competitive in the market, and that, the fact that we increased where we gave COLAs out and negotiated in good faith with our unions, that we have a good labor situation and that we can fill our positions and we can spread out the work of the city, in the future.
We have, the good news is we have a patrol officer entering the academy on December 1, right? December 8th. Okay, gets a little bit of a break first week of December, but they're already on staff. So shadowing in the Department of Learning Policies, learning the system, get to know people, so the community, so they'll be entering the academy, and the potential for a lateral employee going through some background right now as well. So getting ahead of the position that then the council is considering tonight as an added patrol position for the police department in 2026.
I think my point is, I just wanted to reiterate that I really appreciate that the labor of the extra labor that our staff has put in, and that we could not have gotten that fund bonus without their sacrifices. So thank you very much to our staff, and thank you, Terry, for this well-prepared document that has good news. So thank you.
Thank you, John. That's prepared this report. Thank you.
Do we know if the increase in sales tax is due to the development that's been going on, or do we have any targets? Does the state let us know where it's coming from, or is it online shopping? Is it local shopping?
I don't think we have a firm grasp. I mean, the development, as far as Olympic Heights, I mean, they're putting some infrastructure in now. It hasn't hit the bulk of it yet. I think 177 was that. I'd go back and look.
Yeah, the sales tax were kind of holding.
It's not, it's, you know, it's not a lot at this point. We need to track that as some of these subdivisions continue to move forward. So sales and use tax is 177 over the budget amount was 3.5, estimated actuals at 3.7. Certainly it's nothing to sneeze at by any means, but it's nothing that we pointed to at this point that makes sense. If you look back at before 25, sales tax has been fairly consistent. You know, you may see a 1% variable, a 5% variable. It's pretty significant from what we've seen in the past several years.
I know that I was watching the county meeting and they had a really big August in sales tax. We did as well.
And I can go out to the Department of Revenue to see if there is a breakdown of categories.
Any other questions on the? Thank you, Terry, and your staff for bringing this to us every, what, is it every month now?
Yeah.
Seems like,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
so, thank you. All right, our first business item tonight is related to an easement dedication. Assistant Public Works Director Brent Armstrong has details.
Evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council. I bring forward a public utility easement for TV3 to use a portion of the water property next to well one. They need to install a switching cabinet that can tie in 3 substations. This will add electrical reliability in the area. As well as free up some their electrical system for developments. Well, right next to Olympic Heights, this will give them the ability to tie in all their substations. And then backfeed throughout, so it increases our reliability up there where our wells are, so the power goes out. You have a better chance of it staying on for the from a different area. We'll also, help with our upgrades that we have, we're looking into, and ordering in DFD and level one, so the increased power to that health service. And then in the attachments, there's it's not a very big area. We ran it through our staff and the placement of this is just out the right away. It's not going to interfere with its operation. It's the future.
For council's purposes, the entire parcel is outlined in green that you see on the screen. Well one is right down in the corner. If you see the cursor, for reference, Olympic College is across 13th Street, and the big building you see on the bottom, it's Olympic Middle School.
All right. Mary, may we have a reading of resolution number 1406-1025?
Resolution number 1406-1025. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Shelton, Washington to grant a public utility and access easement across property owned by the city.
Thank you, Mary. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to forward resolution number 1406-1025, the December 2nd, 2025 action agenda.
Second,
All right, comments or questions?
I have a question. How soon do you think you'll break down on your easement?
Well, that is PUD easement that they formalize plans. Well, if they are going to be tied in that area and how through across the knowledge through it's tied back. Timing wise, everything's kind of waiting on this to get the ball rolling on the side. And I have to get their areas approved. So I think it's something that they are wanting to do.
Like 2026?
I can't say I can give you that.
Okay.
All right, any other comments or questions? All right, we have a motion and a second to forward resolution number 1406-1025, December 2nd action agenda. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, up next, engineering technician Kenny Oberg and stormwater technician Patrick Hoffman have information for us about a work order.
Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members. Make it here today. Okay, to talk to you a little bit about this work order for the data on one important meetings, which are very, should get permanently quite a lot. This is a really different work order because it has to do directly with storms and topics like that. But if you are not aware, our last stormwater complaint on the date is 2000. Which seven for that. Yeah, we were into recovery and this is so things have changed quite a lot since then. Well, just getting there, not quite as big overseen now and stacked up. But it's a perfect time with city hall planning getting wrapped up. They touched on it a little bit. It's a good time to readdress the whole city's school systems. Especially as our usually expands and has changed in the past, we need to get ahead of this development that we know is up there. And this also includes future planning, capital project identification, planning, financial planning for the right. So be looking into our small margin, sewage charge, structure pay from per piece surface area. And that goes directly.
future capital improvements. And we've been good here for the last 5 years, so you can obviously see what happens with brainstorm. That's one of those issues where we need some interesting flood prone areas. And also, the big part of this is part. We have to block. It's 90,000 and we past practices, those are actually part of, and we're still in part of actually existing. Living areas in the city, yes, it's been a recent project. It's kind of 15 years ago. So other than the attention of the campus, occasionally at the pond. Most of the ponds in town, there's treatment ponds, not in the areas, is a form of area. But in other areas of the town, it's not the peaceful, so the side water. So this plan as a whole is going to be characterizing drainage areas. We don't have basins defined. Portions of the city from the plat payment. So that would be something similar to what we do in the cities areas. I would outline those of big part of the environmental part of this staying compliant with the environment coming up March 2027. So we have to develop and factors that implement a stormwater action. Different than our aim on data mentioned actually identifying the drainage area protection discharge condition. We need funding together plan. That's it. I have preliminary stuff going on right now. It's Health Commission District, so with that, and this will finish out a slow. We're also going to be for operation maintenance. A part of this is maintaining all of this system. A lot of this, when we look at it, it's yes, okay, bikes. There's 4 rooms right there. All of them are good. So the system that is a big issue, especially on the rate, for example, it's a those. We have multiple discharges. Thing that's on the road with those rate. This is where we kind of start that ball rolling of getting ahead of the game. He's trying to maintain what we need to do. Because we only came out of this but this type of thing, this type of things and should have been something that had addressed a long time ago, but we never had this. Haven't done infrastructure. I've told myself I was going to be short.
All right, we're reading resolution number 1414-1025.
Resolution number 1414-1025. A resolution of the council of the city of Shelton, Washington, authorizing the city manager to execute an on-call A&E consultant pool work order with Gray and Osborne Inc. for revisions and updates to the city's 6-year surface and stormwater programs.
Thank you, Mary. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to place resolution number 1414-1025 on the December 2nd action agenda for further consideration.
All right, comments or questions?
Just wanted to let Kenny know how much I appreciate your protecting our water, you're protecting the creeks, and you're protecting our shellfish in the bay. And that this is really important that we are up to date and we're using everything in our power to make sure that we have clean water, because that's the basis of all civilization and community living. So keep up the good work and make sure that we're in compliance.
This is more about the existing infrastructure that we have in town, not really about new development, because new development has to keep all the water on their own property, right?
All the same regulations.
Yeah.
But identify it's a lot of times, for example, that has 2 separate discharges, but they both end up holding in the same place, following different route for a bit, but it's still going to flow through existing infrastructure. But as part of that, we have to make sure that you can handle the additional big flaws. But yes, you're partially correct there, but at some point, we're gonna need to upgrade and identify the existing infrastructure. But also with, their zoning that. City documents that needs to be also incorporated in with this, so we have to deal with areas that we need to focus on. Identify here. No. They like balance on the end, like future expansion.
With this, will this include like the smoke test we've been talking about for a couple of years, trying to make sure?
Testing has to do mainly with, well, water, you know, smoke test, water.
No, I'm talking about like for people that are, they're drained from the roof, are they going in the sewer, are they going into stormwater, are they going into the
Yeah.
creek?
With sewer. you Usually have a fairly smooth system, so it can get down into that with. Storm, you know, catch basin 100 feet or 80 intersections, so. It's not really gonna have that pressure to push it upstream that far. And. Then we can catch that fence, but. it's like, that's-
Mayor, the concern is there's some legacy storm drains, potentially downspouts, roof drains, things like that are connected to sewer rather than storm drains. So certainly a lot of that's taught through redevelopment, we get plans, but I don't, Kenny, forgive me, but yeah, exactly right. Then if you smoke test the sewer, you'll find those storm drains or any other drainage is connected to that system.
All right, it comes to questions. All right, we have a motion and a second to place resolution number 1414-1025 on the second action agenda for further consideration. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. All right, next item is the 2026 master fee schedule in from Director Terry Schnitzer.
Council members, tonight we're bringing you the 2026 master fee schedule. This is to, an annual update for any changes that need to be made, whether it's additions, deletions, cleanup, streamline, for procedural, purposes. And so, which we have brought to you tonight, the red line version as well as the, final version, unless changes are made. But, so we go through page 1 or 2. The first change that we have is the new and renewal of mobile business license. We were contacted by Business License Services probably about a month ago. This is going to be a new license that's going to be available to cities. Probably starting in September or fall. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to put it into the 2026, anticipating that the city would go there so that I didn't have to bring the whole fee schedule back to you. So this is just anticipating that it would be there and available to you. And there's just some additions and cleanup, just housekeeping items. Until we get to,
If you don't mind,
Yes.
I'm gonna stop at page 2 at the bottom about special event permits. There's been some discussion, we've discussed with council about special events in the community and how they potentially impact existing services and whether the previous language talked about open to the general public or whether it was ticketed and or billed. So we added a tier to the commercial event or part of the non-profit mid application. The one instance we ran into last year was when the carnival came to town. They wanted to stay open outside of the special event permit associated with the Forest Festival. We didn't have a specific fee attached to that. So we wanted to make sure that that was captured because we certainly had city resources going towards that commercial activity that wasn't specific to Forest Festival. We want to capture those so the general public isn't see those costs, so that's where the corrections on the bottom of page 2 are notated. Apologize.
no. Should have mentioned that we're gonna be taking through this document as well as maybe some comments from departments
certainly there's staff from departments that can answer some specific questions if the council have.
So which one? So when we get to page 5 for the community development planning, and code enforcement, so you can see that the technology fee and the credit card processing fee are lined out, that as we're incorporating those fees into the fee itself, so we streamline the work that we're doing upstairs without confusion, so that it's easier for cashiering to happen as well as permitting.
So for council's reference, back when the Intergov, or what it was, or permitting software was implemented, the city, the fee schedule was adopted appropriately. It had a 4% applicable permit fee associated with each permit for a technology fee, and then the credit card processing fee of 2%. We found that administratively, that was a bit of a hassle. It was confusing to applicants. The invoices are generated within that Intergov or that permitting platform. That is communicated to the applicant that if you aren't paying by a check or you're paying with other means of the credit card, please release that, take that out of there. Most often people did not. And the check would come in and we'd have to send a check back and forth, and it became, like Terry mentioned, an administrative hassle. So at this point, staff is proposing the 4% technology fee added with the 2% credit card fee to permits throughout community development and public works. So you'll see an example there with the address assignment. The former fee was $100 and now to $106. There's no inflationary increases associated with this or any other cost increases due to staff time or any other services. It would just be the 6% across the board. So as you go down the list here in community development and planning, you'll see the 6%. You'll see the strikeout previous fee and the proposed fee in red with 6% added. And that's several pages. I'll kind of keep scrolling down. There's an edit outside of that. Page 8, there's some cleanup on building permits, evaluation, and fees associated with it. It was just clunky, for lack of a better word, to read. So this just brought the valuations over to the left-hand column here. On this side, oh, there's 2 cursors up there. And then on the right side is the actual permit fee based on the valuation. You'll see below the strikeout where it was all included kind of there on the right side, and just wasn't as clear to find that information a little bit. Again, the technology fee and the credit card fee, these permits. $15, thank you. And then the next portion are fire permits. As you know, we have an ILA with Central Mason Fire Emergency Services for not only fire emergency services, but also fire marshal services. There were some permits that either were not in the fee schedule, or we just wanted to make it more clear within the fee schedule. This is a portion of that. Fire Marshal Keith Reeds is here tonight, can answer any further questions regarding that. So these are, since there's no strikeout there, those are new. You'll see alarm fees edited based on costs from Central Mason Fire. Fire suppression services, or suppression permits, sorry. Hazardous operations, better capture the breadth of potential hazardous operations. Begin with hazardous materials. Explosives. High pile combustible storage. And your other. Emergency generators, gas, gates, that's the security hot work. Investigation fees, pardon me. Yep, and then. Life safety inspections, so these are annual, biannual, are there any more frequent? Regular inspections? Yeah, annual, biannual inspections for certain occupancy. And those are the inspection fees associated with that, and then the operational permit, so each permit, that may be those high piled combustion. Correct me if I'm wrong, high piled combustion or hazardous materials or something associated with that, in the occupancy of the building. Pretty quick, any questions? Please.
When does this go into effect?
The proposal will be January 1. Yeah. Try to address it now, so we have time to implement the fees. We'll have to work with, certainly our permitting software, to get those updated. Appropriately, there's always a little glitch when you're dealing with the software, so we like to test it as well and work with Tyler Technologies to make sure those are being calculated appropriately, so they're not passed on with any problems to the customer. Next few pages are Public Works and Engineering. Again, you'll see the strikeout of the 4% and 2% with that. You'll see it's strange that it's all even numbers, but we rounded those numbers appropriately, so it wasn't anything under $1 within these. One thing we did add is a type 1 right-of-way permit and sign barricade rental fee. Quite often we have business owners or small contractors that don't have the sidewalk closed signs or the other signs necessary to indicate that that portion of the right-of-way is closed for public safety. So we've included a rental fee within the city's fee schedule, so those will be provided to those individuals as appropriate. Brent might be able to talk to water, utilities. There's some, our Shelton Municipal Code references, CPIU increase, annually that these are addressed. I think you touch bases on that, please. Pardon me?
The GS needs to get to control. There you go.
And the monthly charge.
Brent, do you mind touching bases on biosolids too?
Yeah, the biosolids increase is due to price increases of food watering and either running it through the dryer or taking it to an application site. Oliver over the years has increased quite a bit. Takes a lot of energy to run the centrifuges, as well as the gas from the dryer. So those are just increases that, so that's passed on to the customers that are receiving the selection from the process of that.
So we've got ILAs with a number of other entities. It could be our haulers that bring sludge here. If we have appropriate capacity or a treatment plant, we treat that, we bill them for the acceptance of that materials. This is the inflation costs associated with treating and accepting that. And again, that's only if we have capacity.
Needs to be.
No, exactly right. No. We are on site when they show up. Anything else to note? Again, through utilities. The utility rates as the council identified in the FCS study of 2021. Thanks. Again, first touch with the council tonight, briefing. It's a long document. Expect a few questions. I'm sure over the next couple of weeks, we'll bring it back to you on December 2nd on the action agenda. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Happy to have staff return information back to you. So you have as much information as possible to make a decision on the second. We're happy to answer any further questions you might have tonight.
Not tonight. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute, we got stuff to do here. They're reading resolution number 1408, that's 1025.
Resolution number 1408-1025. A resolution of the city of Shelton, Washington, updating and establishing the city's master fee schedule for fiscal year 2026.
And do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to place resolution number 1408-1025 to the December 2nd, 2025 action agenda for further consideration.
Second.
All right, any more comments or questions?
So I'm satisfied that our increases are just transaction fees that we're no longer absorbing. And that, I don't know if that's what percentage or how much more we can recover as far as money, if that will in fiscal, what's the fiscal impact of us doing a full 6%? Instead of absorbing the fees that may or may not have been collected, we're collecting 6% on top. Is there a little bit of money that might come in? Or thinking of.
Yeah, potentially.
Potentially.
You know, we, at this point, you know, our permitting staff is pretty bare bones. It may be the case, it'd be really interesting as some of these subdivisions to really take hold and they start building vertically, especially with our building and planning departments, how they can keep up with that. And at that point, hopefully the volume will pay for whatever services that we might need to make sure that those permitting processes happen in a timely manner. It's gonna be really important to accommodate those that are investing in our community. That's where we'll come back to council. If there's opportunities with those permit fees to address some of the staffing levels to make sure, right, that we're able to work through that permitting process in a timely manner, keep these investors moving. And so we keep making those investments in the community. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that throughout especially probably the first quarter, half of the year, when we most likely will see Olympic Heights nearing completion of the civil improvements and looking forward to them going vertical.
Right. We have a motion and a second to forward resolution number 1408-1025 to the action agenda December 2nd for the consideration. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Vote, motion carries. All right, next, City Manager Mark Ziegler has information for us about the 2026 legislative agenda.
Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Council. Annually, the city adopts a legislative agenda that helps outline what some of the needs are, the capital requests that we might make to our 35th delegation, but also some of the policies that are being considered throughout the state and how they can assist small jurisdictions like us. We see the impacts of decisions made at the legislature on a daily basis. You just heard Kenny Oberg talk about the stormwater comprehensive plan and the requirements of the phase 2 permit that get dictated down to local jurisdictions. So with this legislative agenda, we met with two of our delegation several weeks ago, talked talked about the projects and some of the policies that we feel are important, as well as some of the policies that the Association of Washington Cities is putting forward. So within this legislative agenda, you'll see that the reservoir, the Mountain View Pressure Zone Reservoir is still at the top of our list. We have made really nice strides with some of the private development that has helped with our water infrastructure. One is by Mitchell Development tying in the Upper Mountain View Zone to what is the Mountain View Zone. They're continuing to do that now with a connection from La Crosse down to Alpine Way with a pressure reducing valve. Adds capacity to our system because there was some added storage capacity up in Upper Mountain View. But that's limited time, especially when we see the pressures that we're gonna see with development in the future. So we have a reservoir design study or capacity study completed. Mountain View Pressure Zone was the most likely opportunity to provide more storage in that area. You saw this last year, we received $500,000 from the state to put towards this project. That will be kicking off through design. And then as the number states, another $8 million or so that is required to get this project to fruition. I think the initial estimate right now is about $1 million just for design. These public works projects aren't very cheap. So we'll continue working on opportunities to find supplemental funding. So it's less of a burden on our ratepayers. A new well, 1,000 gallon per minute, 1,000 gallon per minute well is identified in our water comprehensive plan, identifying the site and moving forward to making that come to fruition because we need another source. We need some more redundancy from our system. The Shelton Springs Road Sewer Trunk Line Extension. This is the project that received almost $1 million of federal funding last year to the Port of Shelton. Port of Shelton passed that project off onto the city. It's a just over $3 million project, so we don't have enough funds to move forward with that. This project would add a sewer main from Tarragon Avenue on Spring Road, just past Shelton High School, the Shelton Springs development, all the way to Highway 101. We're making that money real. We're moving forward with design to get the design done so that that project is ready for construction when funding is made available. This opens up the potential for development on Spring Road, potentially on Sanderson Field, 101 frontage. Also, the Dragon Well Development Project, which is a multifamily development project on Spring Road that frankly needs water and sewer. This would bring sewer to their doorstep, potentially bring 80 or more units to that area. And then we have Evergreen Mobile Estates and Hidden Haven, who are on substandard old infrastructure, both sewer and water, that really be nice to bring this infrastructure to their doorsteps for their health and safety of those residents. Wallace Nealon Design Option Report at US 101 Olympic Highway North. We've talked a lot about the next project down below, the Wallace and Shelton Springs Road roundabout design. We've actually received money from the state in the past for that. When we did the signalization upgrades here earlier this year, we found that improved the safety and functionality of that intersection greatly. And as we talked with our delegation, talked internally with staff, felt like the Wallace Olympic Highway North 101 interchange is more of an impact to our community at this point. It's an impediment to people accessing Shelton and the community there. It backs up traffic and it frankly is a pinch point. If you're looking from access from 101 into Shelton or east on Wallace Nealon Boulevard, that's the first place you should identify. Half of the intersection is WashDOT owned and operated. I'll say the half that doesn't function very well. So basically from the center line of Olympic Highway North to the west to the overpass. So getting WashDOT to the table, discussing what the options are with redesigning, redeveloping that intersection so it functions better long-term. WashDOT has wanted the city to take complete ownership of that intersection since those improvements were made. And simply the city didn't do that because we knew it doesn't function appropriately. So getting WashDOT to the table, discussing with them what the options are, maybe some investment that WashDOT makes, as well as some of the funding that's been dedicated to the Spring Road and Wallace-Newland Boulevard intersection transferred over to this intersection to make that function better, and then we can work down the corridor from there. One opportunity that may be seen here as well is if the Shelton Hills development comes in on the west side of 101, mitigation of that intersection would be required with that development. And if some of that work is done up front through state funds, that would alleviate some of those mitigation costs and potentially help them move forward with that investment on this side. So I think there's some opportunity there for economic development and type projects too. So that's why that design report falls above the Wallace and Shelton Springs roundabout design at this point. At least that's what staff's recommendation is. The next one is Wallace and 13th. That's the 4-way stop. Again, as we get more pressure from the development behind Olympic College and more traffic, there will be mitigation fees, traffic impact fees associated with that can be put into capacity upgrades. Certainly leveraging that against some state dollars would be appropriate. I should caveat this, it's a short session, 60-day short session, I believe. Our delegation wasn't to they wouldn't make any commitments as far as funding this year, but they've done a lot of work for us over the years with our infrastructure projects. So we're hopeful that there's going to be some more money coming into some of these higher priority projects. Transportation is the one that's going to be the difficult funding category in this short session. You'll see a stormwater preliminary study of Shelton Creek as well, and then Canyon Creek added in there too, to add on to our stormwater our stormwater comprehensive plan. Just some notes, want to put this in here just to address, there's always opportunities for affordable housing as we see policy or funding come available from the state. We want to take advantage of that. One thing that could happen is if there's any funding for redevelopment of derelict properties, underutilized properties, as those come out of active use in our communities, we're losing housing because these properties fall right into inactive use. And so any opportunities that may encourage property owners to put those back into use or provide tools for the city to further that action is certainly something we want to keep on the radar. More water infrastructure, Wallace-Newland Boulevard improvements, satellite wastewater treatment plant upgrades, and then a Johns Prairie sewer extension that would go out to Port of Shelton property, beauty area out there. We've already got a analysis done with alignment that would make most sense and pick up most properties and add most value for that sewer line. General policy issues. Luckily enough, our community support the Transportation Benefit District once again. It's got a 10-year horizon on it. Public Works infrastructure funding that has been dialed back by the state over the last several sessions. We want to continue communicating with our delegation that those funds are available either through grants or low interest loans, so we can have other opportunities to meet some of our infrastructure needs here as well. Local control, opposing unfunded and underfunded mandates while supporting local control over regulatory policy at the local level. There's always a few things that come out of the session that mandate city to amend our code or adopt a code that is not funded and puts greater burden on staff and our residents alone. So we want to take that opportunity anytime we can to comment on any bills and legislation that comes forward. Association Washington Cities does a great job with their legislative updates weekly throughout the session and provides us updates that are forward to the council at the same time and gives us opportunities to comment at the local level on how we believe that some of this legislation would affect the city of Shelton. So with that, the rest of the presentation is what we provided to the delegation when they were here meeting with us. With that, I'm open to any questions.
All right. Mary, may I have a reading of resolution number 1410-1025?
Resolution number 1410-1025. A resolution of the city of Shelton, Washington, establishing the 2026 legislative agenda.
All right, thank you, Mary. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to forward resolution number 1410-1025 to the action agenda on the December 2nd, 2025 council meeting.
Second.
All right, do we have any comments or questions?
Yeah, I do. First of all, I think these recommendations are right on line with our council's priorities of water and, the critical need for water for our continued growth in the future and also for our fire safety. Because we need that reservoir if we want to combat any future fire episodes that have been occurring more frequently. Also, the road and roundabouts that we need to keep our commerce flowing and also allows for egress if there is a disaster down here in the valley, so that we have those roads clear and being usable and passable. So I think this is very much in line with what this council wants to do for our community and for our future to kind of grow our way out of keep growing and changing and helping us thrive instead of just surviving. So I think this is a really good recommendations that I think we can all agree on.
All right, we have a motion and a second to forward resolution number 1410-1025 to the action agenda on December 2nd for further consideration. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, we have another item from Mark.
If you don't mind, Mr. Mayor, I'll backtrack. I wanted to make one more point, particularly about water storage, as we talked about water storage and availability. Fire code somewhat dictates fire storage that you need to have, and our partners at Central Mason Fire just went through an extensive process with the Washington Safety Ratings Board, which comes in and rates our ability to respond to emergencies, fight fires, including water storage, but apparatus, staffing, and all of those things. And so that becomes very critical. The water storage issue becomes really critical when the ratings board comes in and analyzes the city. Central Mason Fire is trying very hard to get that rating down to a 4. They're at a 5 now. And when you get to a 4, that changes everybody's insurance rates within the city of Shelton. So we need to maintain that water capacity, that water storage for that rating as well at the same time. So I failed to mention that.
And we're under design though for the 1.5 million gallon tank.
Just
now.
starting it.
Just starting it.
Just starting it. Yep.
All right, we have another item from Mark.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Tonight I'm bringing you a new contract with Judge Stephen Greer, our municipal court judge since January 1st, 2019. Really pleased to bring this forward to council tonight, per RCW 3035A13080. The city manager is responsible for appointing this municipal court judge subject to confirmation from the city council. I think we're quite lucky to have Judge Greer serving on the bench in municipal court in his time, instituting the individualized treatment court. And in 2024, the state courts awarded us a court of distinction here in the city of Shelton due to the judge and the staff in municipal courts work. Municipal Court Judge Greer is also responsible for receiving grant funds that have helped fund municipal court, add some of these programs, infrastructure upgrades, safety measures within our courts, and as well as public defense. So we appreciate the partnership with him and the court staff in his time here. Look forward to potential that, this, 4-year contract is considered by council to, keep Judge Greer on here for a few more years.
Thank you, Mark. Do a reading of resolution number 1411-1025.
Resolution number 1411-1025. A resolution of the council of the city of Shelton, Washington, confirming appointment of Stephen Greer as municipal court judge.
We have a second.
Mr. Mayor, I move to place resolution number
Oh.
1412-1025 on the December 2nd, 2025 council action agenda for further consideration.
Yeah. Right. Now comments or questions?
I just wanted to say how much Judge Greer has done for the city. And a former council member, McDowell, and I used to watch the court in action, the award-winning court in action, and he's bringing a lot of innovation and cutting a lot of costs for the city by diverting people from the jail and spending jail money, instead putting them to work on our streets with the street cleaning project. So I just wanted to extend my praise for the judge and for what he's doing in the city.
Anyone else?
I think we're really lucky to have such an engaged and innovative judge here in Shelton, so I'm really happy to say I'll vote yes.
I also agree with everybody, including our city manager, Judge Greer's, it's a great asset to the city and to remind everybody, his last contract, he did not ask for a raise. So I think he's well deserved of it, and I'd love to work with him for the next 4 years. So do we have a motion in a sec? Do we have a motion? We have a motion in a second to place resolution number 1411-1025 on December 2nd. City Council agenda for further consideration. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I'm tired. All right, another one from Mark.
Thank you. Stay with court proceedings. Our contract for public defense or indigent defense is expiring at the end of this year. Sound Defenders has been contracted with the city since 2008, actually. As we know, the state courts have taken some measures to reduce case counts, and the market for public defense attorneys is becoming slim. So we're pleased that Sound Defenders is interested in continuing their service with the city of Shelton. Proposed a 2-year contract. This would increase by about $21,000 over 2025's contract. The 24-25 contract, the 24-25 contract had no escalators in it at that point. We're realizing, particularly with the training schedules and maintaining, again, his staff of defense attorneys as other jurisdictions are paying more. I won't say which ones, but some jurisdictions are paying more than the city of Shelton for the same services. I think we're pleased to be able to retain the services of Sound Defenders. We do have Office of Public Defense grant that covers a portion, if not all, of what public defense may cost. Well, it won't cover all defense budget. We have $177,000 budgeted in 2026, and grant funding at this point from Office of Public Defense would pay just over $57,000 in 26, and there's an additional portion in 27.
Mary, may I have a reading of resolution number 1412-1025?
Resolution number 1412-1025. A resolution of the city of Shelton, Washington, approving a 2-year contract with Sound Defenders PLLC for Shelton Municipal Court indigent defense.
Thank you, Mary. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to place resolution number 1412-1025 on the December 2nd, 2025 council action agenda for further consideration.
Second. Right, comments or questions?
I just wanted to say this is a very small price to pay for defending our constitutional rights to a speedy trial, and that we're getting a really good deal, and that I don't think they've raised too much their costs over the past 4 years. So this is part of the court system that we need to keep on, in our city, and also that we need to, continue funding and make sure that everyone in the city gets their fair turn, in court, and that we continue to support of justice in our city. So I'm really happy to move this forward.
All right, any other comments or questions? All right, we have motion and second to place resolution number 1412-1025 on December 2nd, 2025 council action agenda for further consideration. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right, moving on to the action agenda. Parks and Rec Supervisor Jordan Crumples has update for the art gallery.
Got Mark for you tonight, on behalf of the Arts Commission, got 2 artists for this rotation. We did a call to artists as we usually do through city social media and some online galleries. Our deadline was back on October 31st. Our 2 artists was Elizabeth Jacobson and Joanne Dower. We've had both the artists before, so it's great to see Curry artists come through. The Arts Commission met on November 4th to jury the artwork. We're accepting all pieces that were submitted this time around. And these pieces will be approved tonight, will go up on December 2nd, and they will be through the end of February of 2026. Elizabeth Jacobson's got some digital photography, and Joanne Dower has some oil pieces. And I think answer any questions.
Right, is anyone have a public comment?
No, we don't.
And do a motion?
Mr. Mayor, move to approve Shelton Arts Commission's recommendations for the placement of the Civic Center rotating art gallery.
Second.
All right, comments or questions?
Art is such a integral part of our community and has been since the beginning of Mason County, really. And so I love that we highlight that because it is so much of the character of our community. And so I thank you for continuing it.
Thank you for approving.
Thank you, Jordan. We have a motion and second to approve the Shelton Arts Commission recommendation for placement of Civic Center rotating art gallery. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right. We're resetting out of our regular meeting of public hearing. We have an ordinance 2026 level taxes. I'm sorry, Interim Director Terry Cincher has information. I really am getting tired.
Thank you.
Ad valorem.
Councilmember Flynn. Tonight's, the 2026 regular and EMS ad valorem taxes. This allows the city to increase, the property tax collections of 1%. Because the price, the implicit price deflator was over 1%. It was actually 2.44%, which allowed us to take the full 1%. So for 2026 collection for property tax is estimated to be $2,320,565, and for the EMS, it's expected to be $590,650. There has not been any changes since the last reading.
Thank you, Terry. Mary, does anyone have a public comment?
No, we don't.
We have a reading of ordinance number 2034-1025.
Ordinance number 2034-1025. An ordinance of the city of Shelton, Washington, setting the amount of the annual ad valorem taxes in the city of Shelton for calendar year 2026.
Thank you, Mary. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, move to adopt ordinance number 2034-1025 as presented.
Second.
All right, comments or questions? All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 2034-1025 as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Public hearing is closed. We're opening another public hearing. Terry?
My
Your
last.
Good night.
Yes, this is to present to you the 2026 budget for the city, and we had just a couple changes since our last presentation to you. The page. So on page 3, the total expenditures did not change from $37,528,770. And with page 4, we did have a change for the tourism fund. This is the proposed ending fund balance. We made a correction there, so this is only changing the proposed ending fund balance. It did not change any of the proposed expenditures.
As you're aware, the council, we haven't had the opportunity to have a lodging tourism advisory committee meeting yet to establish the priorities. So that'll come back to council after the first year, and we'll do it. Supplement, thank you.
All right.
And then there's just sort of a housekeeping item on page 55, which we just corrected the facilities and parks. Who was responsible for those budgets for the universal power supply and the tractor. And other than those were the only changes that were made. You have any questions?
All right. Does anyone have a public comment?
No, we don't.
We have a reading of ordinance number 2035-1025.
Ordinance number 2035-1025. An ordinance of the city of Shelton, Washington, adopting the budget for the calendar year 2026.
Thank you, Mary. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, move to adopt ordinance number 2035-1025 as presented.
Second.
All right, comments or questions?
Just so that I hope in 2026 that we choose wisely in our LTAC decisions and make sure that the money that we spend is a money multiplier for everyone in town. And that it promotes our city in a good light. And hope that we're going to go back to business on that. So thank you so much for preparing all this and on your staff. And thank you for the good news for the results.
Thank you for all the hard work that went into this.
Thank you, Terry, and your staff. And you took on a new job this year as interim finance director, and it's about 8 months into this now. So thank you, all your staff, and you've done a great job. So we have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 2035-1025 as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. This public hearing is closed. Resuming our regular meeting. Next, Mark Ziegler has information. City Manager Mark Ziegler has information for us about a request for Mason County garbage.
Yeah, council, as you remember, last meeting brought you a proposal from Mason County Garbage based on the contract, and Chad White, their site manager, is here tonight to talk a little bit more about the implications and the services that Mason County Garbage provides. And well, I said I would share a screen. And so Chad, give me 1 second.
Mayor, council. We are here to talk to you about the Washington State enacted increase to the tax. This is an increase. Increase of 0.35%. It was effective October 1st. And in our contract, this falls in the for to bring to you for consideration for entity contract entity costs. Like I said, it is effective. It was effective October 1st. We're just looking to put it into effect January 1st. So we'll CPI contract making it here. So we'll be planning to take on the expense for the next 3 months. So as I said, it was a 0.35% increase. That's going to be about 7,000 for the city of Shelton to Shelton to be recouped for this increase. So probably about 12 cents per resident per month increase. The state carbon fee last year and a half was 0.65 per gallon increase. That was about 15% overage over normal fuel costs, which added about $175K per year for fuel expense outside of the normal CPI. The CPI, I mentioned it last time, we're kind of hoping to have it, and might come out this week, but, as of right now, August to August, it's 2.8. But by getting close to that, maybe we'll have to go down, should come out maybe this week, or kind of hopefully have it for you, but ain't come out yet. And like I mentioned before, the transfer station has their pass-through increase in savings. Just a little bit of extra stuff, workforce expansion. In the last 3 years, we've added 10 additional employees. Some of that work has gone into the city. They're definitely grown a bit, and like in 2017, one of the routes that we do for the city is the yard waste, and just about 500 customers when we first took it on, cost a little over 1,000. And then just some of the routes, they've grown enough where we do have additional employees, other than the 2 that we usually have doing on the city routes, help out with that, so. Average wage over the last few years been about 5%, a little over 5%. To keep that going, that's when we look to recover some of this costs to continue to. Mark kind of mentioned something I remember from the last meeting was keeping employees here and keeping them in the county. We definitely, obviously, everybody wants to retain employees, and we want to keep people working in this county, so we look to. Look for the wage growth through that, and we're recovering some of these costs. We actually do have a little over 80% of our employees that reside in the city of Shelton. And with our increases, about 200K of wage increases last year or this year for 25. With that, a little over 80% of the city, that's about 164K that we look back in the city of Shelton residents. Those 10 additional employees was about 800,000 expense each year. So. Much like I said earlier, it's about 7K. Yes.
Thank you. Does anyone have a public comment?
No, we don't.
Reading the resolution number 1409-1025.
Resolution number 1409-1025. A resolution of the council of the city of Shelton, Washington, authorizing Mason County Garbage Company to increase solid waste and recycling rates in the city of Shelton effective January 1st, 2026.
Thank you, Mary. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 1409-1025 as presented.
Second.
All right. Comments or questions?
I have some questions. Of the 82% of employees that live in the city, how many employees do you?
We're right at 50.
Right at 50. So that's quite a significant number.
Yeah.
And also are they union? Okay.
Well, that's what we try to do. That's why, like I said, try to we turn this money back in here. Even employed, competitive wage.
There are 41 employees that the city is helping the state and the city. Okay, thank you so much.
Any other comments or questions?
Thanks for taking the time to put this together. It's nice to know what we're, we force everybody who lives in the city to have trash service. So when we decide to raise fees, which it sounds like you need, we're forcing people to pay you. So it's nice to be able to put that together. So I appreciate it.
And thank you for raising their rates 5.4%. So you do take care of your employees.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just want to say thanks for the additional info.
Yep. Yes, thank you. I know that last year we declined to let you raise the rates because we didn't have a clear understanding of what it was going for, and this is obviously a pass-through. We have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 1409-1025 as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Right.
Okay.
Motion carries. All right, our last action item is updating municipal code related to special events. Interim Community Economic Development Director Jason Dose has more information. Can you give him a bigger title than that?
Yeah, we'll add a couple of things on. Mr. Preservation.
Deputy Mayor and Council, regular meeting on November 4th, all the public hearing, chapter 5346, which covers special events. What we propose is to expand that chapter to encompass also only special use of building permits. And essentially what that would entail is allowing for some guardrails, if you will, as methodology for city staff to review special events within buildings like markets, haunted house, and things of that nature. We didn't have any comments really coming from the public hearing or after the public hearing, which was seen for you tonight is the same as it was that evening. We are recommending that we adopt it.
Thank you,
Any
Jason.
questions?
Anyone have a public comment?
No, we don't.
May I have a reading of ordinance number 2036-1025?
Ordinance number 2036-1025. An ordinance of the city of Shelton, Washington, amending chapter 5.46 of the Shelton Municipal Code related to special events, special use buildings.
Thank you, Mary. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 2036-1025 as presented.
Second.
Right, comments or questions?
Good question. How soon will this be effective?
5 days from passage.
5 days.
But we're able to accommodate individuals, businesses that may want to consider this at any time and start that process.
Anything that adds to our town, I think is great. I mean, all of our events that we have is what makes us special. To have more opportunities, maybe 3 or 4 different people can take advantage of this, it sounds like. So I'm excited to have more stuff going on. So.
I think this is really cool. I'd love to see some data on how it's used and if there's changes, feedback from the people who use it, that we could open this up and make it easier or better. You know, it's a great place to start.
Yeah, we have some comments from the chamber that kind of came in after, you saw this at the last meeting that, we may want to incorporate. They weren't significant enough that, that would maybe impede somebody from utilizing this program, but, every facility is going to be different. When you talk about fire and building, requirements and the basic life safety requirements, every building's gonna be different. So it's gonna be really interesting navigating that with some of our property owners, and then coming back to council will certainly update you, but certainly take the opportunities to update the code as necessary. The code gives us enough flexibility that administratively we can work those life safety measures without coming back to the council each and every time.
Just happy that we're codifying this and that we're allowing space for that to party on safely. So, thanks for your work on this, and I hope that we have a lot of business to take advantage of code and get us out there interfacing with each other and creating community. So, thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance number 2036-1025 as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ooh. City manager report.
Like, a couple things, council, I'll keep it brief. It's kind of timely, Lori's presentation about Schuylkill Rotary and Oyster Fest, because I received a call last week from Gary Schoiten, and they do some community projects with the funds that are raised from Oyster Fest, and they want to plant some bulbs here coming up at the entrance to Shelton on Railroad Avenue. So around the Welcome to Shelton sign out on Railroad Avenue, they want to place some soil and plant some bulbs. We have some flowers coming up in the spring around the sign, which I think is a great activity and event that's going to beautify that entrance a bit. Friday, Chamber of Commerce is hosting State of the Community event. I'll be participating in that with representatives from the county, the port, Mason Health, Union Green. That's it. So looking forward to talking about some initiatives the city's put in place over the past year, what we're looking forward to as far as development and growth and some of the needs, coming about here in the near future. Our annual holiday magic and Christmas parade is coming up the first weekend of December, so December 5th and 6th. We also have a new event, no tree maze this year, but I think it's a Grisdale Christmas or Grisdale, Paul and Babes Grisdale Christmas next door in the parking lot. So a lot of activities going on, and we're scheduling a float for the council for the parade too. So make sure and let me know your availability for that, but really looking forward to continuing to partner with the organizations and that are providing those activities in town. And then the last thing I want to recognize, we haven't come back to you with Blue Bridge information lately, but Captain Patton let me know today we received a $500 anonymous donation for the Blue Bridge program. There's been some other donations over time, certainly $1,000 the mayor committed to early when we first implemented this program, but we're happy to announce that that's continuing to move forward, and we're giving our officers the ability to help our community in ways that, you know, they may have been doing out of their pockets themselves before. So it's a great program, and we're going to continue recognizing that there's opportunities there for our community to be involved with that. So
Did we meet the threshold so they'll match it?
yeah, it's 25.
It's 25.
Yeah.
Close.
We're close.
Not yet. That's all I have for you tonight.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Anybody have any questions for Mark? Does the council have any new items for discussion? All right, our next study session is the 25th of November. So we have a public safety grant, public safety sales tax, and transportation benefit district sales tax discussion. Our next regular meeting is December 2nd, and we have business items. We have Shelton Employee Guild 2026-2028 contract, the reappointment of Park Advisory Committee, new appointments for Park Advisory Committee. We have a public hearing on the budget supplemental. All the action items were what we discussed under business tonight, and that would be it. So this meeting is adjourned at 7:41 p.m. That we go a little bit longer.
I did too.
I was thinking-
I was ready to extend.
I was thinking we were gonna go longer.
Also, picking up, so glad we're.
And for sanity.
I mean,